All right. This I'll just leave it as full screen. Why not? So I think I'm gonna switch back to YouTube for this because I think having the VOD save is interesting from this point forward. Ooh, apparently I have no internet. What does this say? Allow. Sorry, I'm trying to open my phone. Just close that, I guess. Okay, I definitely have internet, so I don't know what's up with it. But anyway, so I had just labeled the whole map depending on what kind of thing I'm looking at. So now I'm going to uh, I'm gonna start grouping the things I labeled into separate selection sets so that I can look at things in as separate parts, and it'll be easier for me to remesh everything. So first, the buildings I would start with. And this building is an absolute mess to work with. So maybe there's a way for me to select it all in a nicer way. Did that grab everything? Let's see. It looks like it. Right, so all of this I want to be one mesh, so I'm just gonna press M just so it's easier for me to select it now. I will create a new selection set for buildings. I would want to do, what am I saying? So I like to use the outliner to arrange or organize the map, but for now, it's going to be a little easier for me to use selection sets instead. Is that true? What's the difference? There really is no difference. Okay, why not just start organizing it through the outliner? So I'm just going to create a group here, name it buildings. So then this thing, I'm actually going to separate and then group, drag this bottom one into that group and drag the group into the building. And then this will just be building 1 because I don't know what else to name it. Now there, you see there's, in this outliner, there's so many meshes. So eventually all of these meshes are going to be organized. Or that's the plan. When I did that remove this whole thing from the selection set? I think it did. which isn't really the end of the world. I can just redo the selection set if I care to. But anyway, so the tricky thing about this doing things in the outliner is adding things to an existing group, because whenever I make changes to the if I make a change to a mesh in the hierarchy, what ends up happening is it falls to the bottom. So now how do I get this mesh that I've selected into this group all the way down here? Well, I will select buildings. I will select the other mesh, Control H, and then I can drag it in. So now this one, for now, I'll just create a group and call it building 2. Now that's still a really annoying process. So if I could, I would like to do it in a different way. Building 1, what's this? This is probably part of old map. When I was trying to do the same thing in the other world, and then I decided, you know what, this is going to be a hassle. So I'm just going to create a bonus instead. Okay, I guess some of them, maybe it had to do with when I merged the mesh and then split it, the only this one became part of the original mesh that was in the selection set, and then everything else that split just got removed. Okay, anyway. What happens if I select this mesh and then search building? So I see buildings, but I don't have what I have selected. So then what do I do? The only thing, one thing I can do, I guess, is if I group and ungroup, the mesh now goes to the bottom of the hierarchy. So now I can drag it into buildings. And actually, since I'm going to end up grouping it anyway, I may as well just group and name it building 3. So then this one, group, name it building 4, drag it into here. So we've got building 1, 2, 3, 4, group. I don't mean to hide it. Group. This is building 5. Put it in this group. Is this whole thing one building? How far does this mesh go? I guess it's part of it. It's just a little odd because there's some non-building things that are part of the mesh. Or no, there isn't. Okay, so I think I'm good then to, oops, I accidentally flipped the faces. I think I'm good to do what I wanted. So group, this is building 6. Put it here. Then okay, so as I'm doing this, I'm thinking this hierarchy thing is uh is useful for what? For me to look at the world as separate pieces when I'm detailing. And I guess it also allows me to really like if I start like breaking the building into pieces, I can still keep all those pieces grouped together. Like on this one, it'll be grouped together in the hierarchy at least, so it's easier for me to see what's going on. Okay. Um, so what's going on here? I'm not really sure. I do know that this is part of the buildings, but I don't know what building it would be part of. Like half of it, I don't know. I feel like this is probably um not I think balconies are probably separate from the buildings, but so what do I do about that? I guess I'll just name it balcony 1. So I'll create another group called balconies, even though it's the same color as buildings. Are there any other balconies then? So far, no. This will be building 7. I think everything I'm selecting here is one building. So I'm going to group it and call this building 8. This will be building 9. Building 10. Building 10. I wonder what happens. So right now, I want to create a selection set called buildings and then add the building group to selection set. Okay, so now let's say I put, if I were to put balconies inside of buildings, what would happen? It disappears and does get added to the selection set. So that's interesting. So I can make selection sets correspond to the like highest level groups if I want to easily toggle their visibility um, without worrying about hiding or unhiding other things individually. This is a small building, but it does count. So this is another building. When I get into more specific kind of detailing, I'll probably name the or like for example, that could probably be like a little like that might be like an entrance to a house. Because it depends what this area even is. It could also be like a little entrance to a restaurant or something. Up here is also intended to be like a small diner, maybe. Anyway, this is a building. I am going to. Ooh, what do I color the floor? And what about the height of the building? I think it's valid for the building to go all the way down and not be like partially here and then partially there. I'm not really sure. There's also funky stuff going on with the walls, but that's the thing I want to fix when I uh, group everything together how I want them to be grouped. So what, this floor is definitely only part of the building. So let me properly select everything in here. Right, group, building 12. Then new selection set for balconies. Um, remove selected items. I want to go to the bottom and put, I can't drag, so select, add selected items. These two need to be grouped. This is balcony 2. Then I move on. So this is another building, building 13, building 14, building 15. These are supposed to be 4 separate buildings. It's kinda odd. I might have to add more also, or maybe it just depends what we do with the skybox. Anyway, so group, this is building 16, group building 17, right, so now there's so many buildings that it's getting hard to add to the group, so I have to minimize the group. Because I don't actually need to see the contents, I just need to be able to drag it into the group. Okay, this is... Okay, I do have to remember the count though. So the number of objects corresponds to the size, so at least that means I can just... The number is just 1 plus the number of objects. Okay, building 21. This one's a little tricky. Not really. I just select those two, right? Everything else is something different. So this is... I'm not even sure if this counts as a building, but it's alright. Building 22. Building 23. Building 24. Building, maybe I just copy the word building with an underscore so that I can just do the number after. Building 25. Just making sure I grab everything I want. Building 26. This one is balcony 3. Oof, I forgot about the whole inside of this building. Okay. It's the most recent building. So everything inside should be this color, but the stairs are routes, and so is the ladder. Okay, so select these two, group, ungroup, add to building 26. Just make sure. Yeah, looks good to me. How about this one? This one looks all right. How about this one? I'm not really sure. So if I show the buildings, we have this one here. I could just say that this is part of this. These two are connected as part of the same building. So this is building 25. I will just throw this into building 25. This is building 27. Building 28. I already forgot I copied that text, so let me get back in the habit of doing that. Group, paste 29, drag, group, paste 30, drag, group, paste 31, drag, group, paste 32, drag, group, paste 33, drag, group, paste 34, drag. If this is meant to be some sort of like place with like a dining area, should this be ground instead of a building? Nah. It's alright for it to be some sort of rooftop area, I guess. But anyway, what that means is this entire thing is another building. 35. Is there any reason for this to be a separate building from the other one? Not really. So I'll say these two are one building. 36. Building 37. Building, I forgot to paste again. 38. 39. 40. Felt like I was about to sneeze, but it didn't happen. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Almost done with the buildings part of this. 46, 47. This building's a little bit tricky, I think. Just because I put it together kind of scrappy. I would probably say just this is one building. So yeah, group building 48. And I guess all of this is another building. Building 49. What about this? This thing, I'm kind of confused about what kind of building it is, especially with the walls on it, but I guess this section could be one building and this could be another. This is building 50. This is building 51, and then what is this on the outside? Another balcony? It's kind of a stretch, but maybe. Building 51. Balcony 4. I think this was supposed to be ground. Not too sure though. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, but this is a building. 52. Building 53. 54. Is this a balcony or a separate building? I'll say separate building, but I'll look at this one first. Yeah, okay, this one's fine. Building 55. So I'm looking at these meshes and they're already not that bad. Some of them are messy, but most of them are very simple, which means I won't really have to start from scratch with them. I will only have to just like check the vertices and edges to first make them as simple as possible without changing the shapes, and then add details as I see as it what am I saying? Details where necessary. That's the phrase I wanted to say. Building 56. Building 57. This is another interesting one. Pretty sure the floor is meant to be part of the building, even though I changed the color. Um, this part also, not sure why that color changed. Interesting. Okay. I do see why it changed, I think. So these walls were incorrectly colored. So now it makes a bit more sense. Okay. So group. This is building 58. 59. So then the next thing, since I'm about to be finished, this is balcony 5. Since I'm about to be finished with these building groups, the next step is to, well, I'm going to need to figure out how I want to group the walls and details and route, because I could do it all separately into their own groups, or I could group them into uh the buildings. But I feel like grouping them by the buildings, what does that mean? So I have a group of buildings. So if I think it makes sense, I could say, okay, these these jumps are part of this building 58. So I'm going to group these jumps and put them in the building 58 group. But I mean, that's one idea for organizing, but I feel like it's going to end up being really uh tricky to find things. Like if I want to look like just select the whole route, it's going to be hard for me to find the whole route unless I create a separate selection set for the route that's different from how the groups of buildings and stuff are made. So I think instead I'll just do a group for the route that's separate from the buildings, a group for the details that's separate from everything. Anyway, um, this is building 60. Building 61. Building 62. Building 63. Okay, so all buildings are done. So now what? I think now it's very easy for me to see the other things, like the other details, and I can just toggle the buildings on and off. Um, what I will need to figure out though is still, how do I group these individual things? Like for example, this everything I'm selecting here is like a section, but do I want to group it by a section, or do I just want to put each individual thing as its own group? I think I'm going to do the latter. I'm just going to probably do it, uh, group each thing individually. This stuff here is a little bit tricky, but I think it's fine for me to just select everything here I want to select the player clip also. I hope I did. Yeah, it looks like I did. So all of this would get grouped, and this is going to be route 1. And I'm going to create another group for route. And this is route 2, route 3, route 4, route 5. So this is still a little bit confusing. I don't know if it's the best way for me to, I don't know if it's a good idea because some of the buildings are balconies are also part of the route. I guess it's just that, like, for example, this here, I wouldn't want to change the shape of it much because it's important that the height of this ramp doesn't really change because it's very specific how the player is able to jump from this stairs onto this window thing onto the awning. So, and then the same idea goes for like this whole part right here. The player jumping from here to here and then here to these buildings. Like, these are also all part of the route. So what exactly are these, or why are these different? I guess the answer is if these were not part of the route, they would probably be labeled as details. Although this one here should probably be labeled as a balcony. Balcony 6. Then grouping the walls is also going to be really tricky, I think. Okay. Um, where am I at? I need to create a selection set called route. And then select the route, add it. So now I can see what's next. So this is route 6. Route 7. And this is a bit confusing to follow, but after that surf, you go building to building to building to inside the building, out up the stairs to here. So this would be route 8. Then 9. 10, not 19. Let me do the same thing I did with the buildings where I copy the route with the underscore. 11. 12. Whoops, I opened console. One moment, actually. I need to check something without uh, leaking. Okay. This is route 12. 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I think grouping it how I'm doing it makes sense because it's rather than doing weird stuff with the buildings and also grouping things into larger parts, because the purpose of this is that each group is supposed to represent one mesh. That's the idea, at least. Now, this stuff over here is going to be a little... not really sure, but I think it's the same idea. Anyway, I'm going to label this Route 16. I think everything here should actually be pink because the thing people are meant to do is jump around onto this, and then everything down here is just a pro save if you don't make that jump. Or if you fail somewhere over here, you'd go back. So those are actually pro saves and not part of the route. Okay, this is Route 17. Route 18. Now, over here is also a little bit odd because the route is really on this wall, not these stairs. But the stairs right now, since it's an instance, it's labeling it by color is not really possible. So I'm not really gonna worry about it. I could get away with it though, because why? Because this is the only other place the instance is used. So this is like a wider staircase that's used only for detail, and then there's the smaller staircase that's actually part of the route. And I haven't done the staircases anywhere else yet. And once I'm done labeling everything, the colors stop mattering. I won't really have to do any labeling, ideally. Ooh, I missed some stuff here. So this is building 20. Everything... What's the point of this? It's the headbanger. So this thing is actually a wall, I think. But this is building, this is building, this is building, this is building. So these four need to be added to building 58. No, not 58. It was building 20. Well, why did I think it was building 58? Okay, well, this is a bit annoying. Oh, shoot. This was the thing I was afraid of, is now by I messed with the hierarchy, and now the building numbers are not in order anymore. It's not really a big deal. It's just super disappointing that it happened. Did the stuff I selected get deleted? No, they ended up in route somehow. Here. So ungroup, put it in building 20. Problem solved. Okay. Oh, shoot. Oh, wait a minute. You can nest selection sets. I did not know that. So all of this stuff with grouping is not really... Well, that changes a lot, but it's all right. One moment. All right. So I only just learned now that you can nest selection sets. Can I... How do I unnest them? Like I can do this. How do I unparent? Let's see. Maybe it's in hotkeys. Help? Window? Options? Key bindings? Parent? Control P does not work, sadly. I need to remove these three from the route selection set. That's done. Okay. So hide the buildings, hide routes. So where am I at? I'm at these stairs and whoops, I did not mean to hide. A group, say this is route 19. I think this whole thing is just going to be route 20, route 21. Let me go through here, down into the building. This surf is route 22. This little ramp is route 23. and you jump here to here to here through the windows around onto this thing, which will be Route 24. Then we have ladder thing, Route 25. Stairs are Route 26. This little ramp is Route 27. 28. 29. Route 29. But yeah, I had noticed that I can do nested selection sets, which kind of makes me think what I'm doing with these groups is not really needed. I'm not sure. The upside of doing it with these groups is the naming. I can name selection sets, but naming individual things, well, it would just mean naming the sub selection set, which I can do. So I it's just I guess the question is just what's the difference? Other than the thing that hiding in the selection set means it does not get included in the compile. How is a selection set different from a group? I do not know the answer. Anyway, this is Route 30. This whole thing altogether is Route 31. This block is Route 32. This is Route 33. Route 34. Route 35. The stairs are kind of part of the route, but it's alright. This thing is part of the route. I should color it properly. I think this is part of the building, but the stuff down here is details. So this is building 21. Just gonna drag it into building 21. Then hide the buildings. Now what? I minimize the buildings and I look at the number on the route. It's 35, so this one is Route 36. I think this part's a little weird, but I'm going to say rather than labeling these as details, I'm just going to include it as the route. Probably. But anyway. This one thing I suppose is Route 37, even though it's two different jumps, it's combined right now, so I'll keep it combined. This whole thing altogether is Route 38. 39. 40. 41. It's kind of weird that these are two separate things, but it is what it is. Okay, these giant things being labeled as route. I don't know what to make of it. I'm not really going to think too hard about it. Just continue. Route 43. Route 44. Route 45. Route 46. Group. Route 47. Group. Route 48. 49. 50. 51. 52. I hope I didn't forget to group any of the other ladders. I know I remember to do it on the ladder glide over there, so I guess that's the second ladder. All right, so that's ladder coming onto the roof and then going over to here. Route 53. Falling down onto this ladder. 54. This whole thing is one thing. It's 55. These should probably be separate, I think. I can't double click, unfortunately. And there shouldn't be anything in the bottom. Okay. This is Route 56. No. Well, yes, but also no. I wanted, or just no. The answer is just no. This one's Route 56. Oh, I typed 57. Or no, it auto-incremented. This one, I don't know what to put as the number yet. This one is 56. The ladder is supposed to be 57, but I have to add the mesh on the inside to it. This whole curve is 58. This small thing is 59. And then this thing I already named is supposed to be 60. Then what is this? This is just a, this is not route. What is it? It's a detail? Okay, this with this is route 61. These two meshes group and become route 62. Then I go into the building, jump out onto the roof of the other building, and then jump onto this. So this is route 63. This is route 64. Did I compile this one? I forgot. No. Because I wanted to try that angled jump, but I forgot if I compiled the previous one with that change or not. Probably not. Let me look. Load. I'm almost sure I didn't. Yeah, I did not. That was something I noticed and then I changed, but I did not test it yet. So I would like to test it, but not yet, since I'm kind of on a roll, I guess. Whoops. I'm not supposed to be editing this one. Okay. This is the next part of the route. 65. 66. They're supposed to be two separate things. This one is supposed to be 67. The stairs here are 68. This little roof thing is 69. And then this, I'm not really sure what it is, but it's 70. These things are really together, so I'm just going to group them and say they're 71. Then why would I say that thing that was sticking out on top is not together? I'm not sure. I think it's because you had to jump. Anyway, route 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77. So how far? There really, even though it seems like a lot, there's not that much left. Because I go through the rest of this blue, which there's a lot of small things, but it's really not that much. And then I go, first balconies aren't supposed to be visible. I'm going to go through and do it for the pro saves, details, and barriers. And then I'm just going to be left with the walls and the ground. And those things are what I want to focus on first. So that's the goal right now, is like eliminating everything else, or making it so I can hide everything else and only focus on the shape of the world. I guess I will have to distinguish between the walls that are simply barriers versus the walls that are actually just part of the world. But I will get to that when I get to that. So back to the route. I made it to here. So what happens here is you jump on this, jump up here, jump around and down, and then walk onto this block. This block is Route 78. Then you jump onto something, a balcony right here, then onto this thing. So this is Route 79. This is Route 80. This is Route 81. 82. 83. 84. 85. These are two separate things, even though it's like I mean they're clearly separate things. I'm not really sure what I'm meaning to mention here. I guess it's just that one of them is always optional. It doesn't really matter which one you jump on. I don't think it does, at least. Maybe it actually does. It's 90, 91. You go here to here to here. So this is 92. Then you jump, surf, get to here. 93. Then you jump to here to get over, so this is 94. This bridge is 95. The ladder glide, it's another ladder, so I have to group these two. This is 96. Jump around here. If you missed the ladder glide, go up here. It doesn't really matter because that's just a pro save. Not really. That's alternate route that I'm labeling as pro save. I'm not really sure if that's a good idea, actually. I'll just label this as part of the route. So this is 97. 98. 99. 100. 101. 102. 103. 104. 105. 106. 7. 8. There's probably only like 6 more of these, I think, or actually there's probably 10 more. 9. 110. 111. 112. 113. 114. 115. 116. 117. Okay, so that's it for the route. So now I can decide, oh, I don't want to look at the route. I only want to look at the buildings. So I'll do it like that. And ideally, I would also get rid of all of the other things. Also, the stuff in here, at least it is part of the buildings. I just didn't color it properly. But now I did color it properly. Although this thing is route. I mean, this thing's also route, but it's part of the building mesh, so I'm not really gonna worry too much about it. But this is route, so I'm going to, even if it's out of order, it's no big deal. This is just route to 118. Okay, so next would be the barriers. There's no particular order for the barriers. I'm just gonna select them as I see them. This is barrier 1, barriers. New selection set for barriers. And we're good. Barrier 2. Barrier 3. I think these are meant to be the same. Barrier 4. Maybe, maybe not. Barrier, not route. Barrier 5. 6. 7. 8. 9, 10, 11. There's a lot up here. So this place is going to be a bit of a puzzle figuring out how to mesh. I think these barriers are just supposed to be windows, that's all I had intended. Not really sure what's going on with these ones. This one I remember it's just a door. Okay. Yeah, there's already not that many left. $24, not $25. What even is this barrier? This is probably the inside of that market thing. No, it's a balcony. Okay. Or it's supposed to be on the balcony. Then this one is the one that's in the market. Okay. So now it's just pro saves and details. Just in case I forget, I want to add these to new map. All right, so, oh, I see. So selecting and unselecting new map changes the visibility of these other selection sets. So really, all of these belong inside of new map. Okay, so I'm gonna do the pro saves now. Pro save 1. Pro saves. New selection set. Pro saves. Drag it into here. Not visible. Pro save 2. 3. 4. Whoops. 4. 5. All of these I would say are one mesh. 6. I don't know if I'm using the right word because they literally are not one mesh. I think later on they might become one mesh. That's the idea. Eight, 9. This thing is a detail. Okay. This is 10. I should be minimizing these selection or these groups. 11, 12. Ooh, I missed the barrier. Barrier 32. Row save 13. Row save 14. Pro save 15. 16. This whole thing's one mesh, but it's colored, or the mesh is a bit odd. I'll just say this is part of the stairs. Why not? Then it's fine. Pro save 17. 18. I missed 2 more barriers. This is barrier 33. This is barrier 34. Okay. Any other pro saves I'm missing other than these 2? No. Pro save 19 and 20. Okay, so then it's just details, and then I can finally figure out what I'm going to do about differentiating between walls that are little, like, I don't know how to call these. I don't know why I can't think of what to call these. It's a wall to prevent you from falling. It's a fence, but like it's not really a fence because like if it's is there if it could be like a concrete thing, and I wouldn't really look at a concrete wall thing and say, oh, that's a fence. So I guess it's just a wall. But when I think of walls, for some reason I imagine walls being like giant or like things in things related to buildings, or I don't know. Anyway, I need to just pick one detail. So I'll just take these. Group, name this detail 1. Group again, name that group details. Then create a selection set and name that details. Put that selection set in new map. And hide it. And it looks like I missed one. Wait, did I really? Hold on, let's see. So detail 1, I definitely did miss one. Okay. Group, ungroup, drag it into detail 1. Okay. detail underscore copy 2 group detail 3 detail 4 5 yeah, these four are separate details even though they're part of the same type of, like, they're going to be four of the same thing. So I would probably turn them into instances later. Don't need the group to be expanded. So it's in case it gets hard to drag them in. Right, this is at the bottom of what would be the windmill eventually. This I'll say is one detail. Uh, 16, not 17. I wonder if it. I keep on like going back and forth between wondering if it would have been a good idea to organize these differently. What's down here? That's just the player start. Don't see anything else I'm missing, so I move on. There's 24, 25. I'm about to cough. Okay. Uh, what do I want to do about this one? Would I say it's all one detail? Hmm. Sure. Why not? Why is this one outward and the other one isn't? So let's see. Because the other one got labeled as part of the route. That really doesn't matter anyway. So I won't let it bother me. Who cares? Group. This is detail 26. I missed this one. I did. So let's group, ungroup, open, drag it into detail 26. Okay. $27. 28. And I have decided that when the details are really, really close together, I'd rather just treat them as one mesh. So that's why I'm grouping these three together, even though they're very obviously separate. But then on the flip side, these I would not group together. Because I do want to treat them as separate meshes. Ooh, did I write the wrong number? No. Let me search detail 30. Okay, I never typed 32. I don't know why I thought I just typed detail 32. That's why I'm usually trying to say it out loud so that I catch myself in case I mess up. So group, paste, detail 34. 34, not 30. Oh. Okay, there is something weird. I was supposed to write 32 and I didn't. So this is 32. This is 33. This is 34. Okay, I did miss these stairs. Detail 35. 36. 37. I wonder why sometimes when I paste it's highlighted and other times it's not. Oh, this part's a little weird. Well, none of these top faces need to be there, so I'll just delete them. I won't really worry too much about checking the bottom faces. That's something I'll take care of later. Detail 38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. 51. Okay, so now all that's left is the floor, or the ground, and the walls. Actually, this is supposed to be a detail. Let me label it as such. Group paste 52. All right, and then how about this one? I'll say it's just part of the wall. I did want to check if I should just be deleting all of these remaining faces that are white. I think the answer is yes. So if I hide and then show, this face is completely invisible. So I may as well delete it. Let me select the material first so that I can go find all the others. So very clearly this bottom one isn't needed. This one's not needed. I think it's going to be the case for all of them, but I'm still going to check just in case. I don't want to delete anything that I might need. Here, this is supposed to be textured with this one, but on the bottom, that can be deleted. But now I need to reselect the material. That's gone. Even though most of it's hidden, it's not. I don't know. It depends what I do with this staircase. I think this staircase will not be see-through, meaning I should be good to just delete this face completely. Maybe. But if not, then I'll just add it back as a blocklight solid in the future. I'm definitely good to delete all three of these. I wanted to say I was good to delete this, but that's not true. Well, kinda. Since it's a staircase, it's the same idea as the other staircases, where for now it's just going to be a quad, and then I'll figure out what to do with it when I'm actually meshing the staircases. This one is an uncertainty because I don't really know what I'm going to do with the barriers. So I will leave it alone as a wall. Shoot. Okay. So I keep on. Maybe I'll go to assets, materials, and then go find. No, it's so hard to find it. Well, I already know it's called reflectivity 90, so I'll just do that. This looks like an easy delete. This is also free. So is this. Or is it? Yes, it is. How about this side? Still good. Here is completely inside of a building, so not needed. A building that's going to not have anything inside it, I don't think. If it were not, if the building were hollow, then I might consider not deleting the face. That gets deleted because this will end up becoming a stair. It's the same case for all of the other stairs, where it's not going to be see-through later, probably. Is that all of them? All right, so does that mean if I... It stays shown here even though it's not used. I would have expected it to not appear anymore, but maybe there's something hidden. So let's see if I show all of these and then try again. No, okay. Maybe it's part of an instance. These are the only instances though, and I don't really see it. There's no triggers, so I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, details, pro saves, barriers, routes, balconies, buildings. Okay, so now I want to distinguish between the walls that look like this versus the walls that are like attached to the ground. So I guess I need another color. orange, I suppose. Open blue PDN. This, but softer. That looks too brown. Yeah, maybe I just want... That looks alright. So flatten, save as. I go to the vanilla vacation add-on materials, and this is already the correct location. Now I'll just save it as orange. Hopefully it ends up looking different enough from brown. So I guess, what do I call it? I'm not looking at assets, I'm looking at object properties. It's there's walls, and then there are the hmm. I'll say fences, just cause I don't know what else to call them. But before I can use it, I need to go into material editor, open up this one, change the name to orange, then change the file, the picture, to orange as well, and then just save. So now I can already use it. Orange checker. Okay, so I'm coloring the fences this color. So I'll say this is a fence. Shift T, group. This is fence 1. Fence 2. Then where's fence 1? That's part of the old map. Aha. All right. That doesn't need a name. New map. Also, I may as well put these in a different group. Junk. I'll also do a selection set for junk so that I can hide it if I don't want to look at it. And what are these? These would be part of the zoo. Zoo meaning an instance zoo. So if I want to reuse the stairs, I would go to the zoo, grab the stairs, and put them somewhere else if they would fit into that other spot, which is not very likely because I didn't really measure the stairs out to be the same length every time. So I don't know how useful that's going to end up being. But it might be useful for other stuff, like the surfs maybe, maybe not. Maybe these window jumps that are pretty repetitive. Anyway, back to this stuff. I have something labeled fence 2. I want it to be labeled fence 1, and then I group it again. Name this group fences, then create a new selection set called fences, and drag that selection set into new map and make it invisible. This is a fence. It's a weird fence. I don't really know if it makes sense to call it a fence, but I am going to call it a fence. Fence underscore. It's just anything that's a wall, but is not like a huge wall down the side of a building or of the ground. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's what I'm going with. Okay. These are probably all one mesh. It's a very funky looking mesh, but should be okay. Hmm. Do I want these to be separate? So there's fence one, which is hidden, but it's over here in this invisible area. There's this one I've selected, and then there's one going all the way around up here, here, and then across. Now, do I want these to be separate, or do I want them to be the same mesh? It's probably easier if they're separate, depending on what I end up doing with these fences. So I'll keep them separate. But then this whole thing needs to be separated as well. I'm not going to worry too much about remeshing these to keep them separate. I'm also not going to worry about the Z fighting. Right, so this is fence 8. What is this? That's the one that just got created after I separated the meshes. It's not 19, it's 9. These I can separate because it's free to do so because they're already separated. This fence 10. I'm forgetting to color them, but it's alright because I can just select the whole group, then select all of the meshes, and then color them afterward. But it's important for me to separate these walls, these fences from the ground and walls that I want to focus on because the shape of the world I want to make a lot simpler and I want to focus entirely on that because the world is going to be the main thing related to Viz. So it's important I make the shape as simple as I can to make the map more optimized. Okay. So I'm just looking for more walls. So here's this one. It's already one mesh, so I'll just group, paste, 12. This is one very small fence, but it is still a fence. I wonder why I'm not saying the fences are details. That's a good question. All of these things that I'm selecting right now, I'm putting in a separate group. They are pretty much just details. Sometimes they're part of the route though. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep sticking with what I'm doing right now though. 15, 16. Since these are colored the same as a lot of the other ones, it's gonna be easy for me to miss some. So I'm gonna end up like rechecking the same places a lot. Like what's going on here? I think this was just the part that was Z fighting. Right, so let me see. I show the whole map. The ground is really low, but this wall is raised high for no reason. So yeah, it's just that's like some of the things that I'm intending to fix right now, and that's like a major reason why I'm spending time doing all this. so that it's like really easy for me to spot and fix those, and then also like fill in these holes that don't really need to be there. And probably, I don't know if it matters if I attach the floor, like connect these edges. Some I know people in the mapping Discord would say you should merge them, but I don't really know if it matters if it's merged or not. We will see, because I'm not going to merge them, and then I'll compile um, eventually. Probably not yet, but eventually when I'm ready to compile, we'll figure it out. All right, what is this? I don't know what this is. I mean, I know what it is. Like, I know what part of the route I'm at, because I know there's going to be like the blue thing here when I show the route. But if I'm thinking about the world, what is this supposed to be? I don't know the answer to that. I guess it's just a big concrete wall. So like maybe like the top. Right now I have yellow selected. It would be orange, but it's fine. So it would be like this. So the whole thing's a wall just to differentiate it from regular ground stuff. That's probably what would make the most sense. Which means it's the whole thing's a wall, so I should be treating it as a fence. I think this whole thing is meant to be one fence. In this case, I'm calling it a fence, but it's really like a like if imagine this is a restaurant and then you can go out onto a balcony, but the balcony is like kind of enclosed with windows, but it's still like technically outside, I guess. I don't really know. Uh this would be a separate kind of fence. Fences don't need to be expanded, or the fence group doesn't need to be expanded. Fence 23. How about this thing? Huh. What even is this? I feel like, okay, first of all, what's going on here with this floor? Is it part of the building? No. Is it balcony? No. If I show buildings and balconies. Oh, it's the thing that had a hole in the bottom and I never filled it in. Huh. Okay, well then I should fix it right now. Well, what's it supposed to be? I mean, if you look at it from this side, it makes sense. So why don't I just maybe delete this? Let me see. This is a separate thing, right? So I can just grab these, drag them over here, and we're good. So then really this part that I have selected now is probably part of the building right here. Or it might be a balcony. I think this counts as a balcony. Similar to how this would be a balcony, but since this is all part of one building, I may as well include this as part of the building as well. So this is building 6. Group, ungroup. Let's go scroll all the way to building 6. The top face is not included for some reason. That's an easy solution though. Rather than, is it easy? Well, let's do this. Control H. I'm gonna merge the top face into the mesh. Let's just raise this first so that I can merge the vertices properly. There doesn't even need to be a face on this side. Or that side. So now I should be good to do that. No. It should be top into bottom. It still combines as a separate mesh. Like it's still removing it from the group. The whole idea was to make it not removed from the group. So that kind of sucks. Whatever. Let me do this, Control H. I already did that, but all these other hidden stuff still show, which is super annoying. So I'll just scroll again. I mean, I'm still going to merge them. Okay, anyway. I don't need to look at buildings or balconies. This is already a fence, so I'll also hide fences. Now what? I got most of them, I think. This is fence 24. I have to re-minimize this one so I can drag them in easily again. This is 25. This is 26. This is inside the building. It's this is supposed to be like, it's not a fence, it's a wall inside of a building, but it's not part of the building. I don't really know how to explain what it is. I can show what it is, but it's still not even gonna help with the explanation. It's like something so that when you come out, you can't jump onto the thing in the middle. So you have to fall down. But I don't know what it actually is. It's just the kind of thing where we're going to have to figure out what it is or just have the player suspend disbelief or just ignore it. Anyway. For now, it's going in the fence group. So fence 27, 28, 29. What is this? Not sure. Oh, I know what it is. It's the thing you jump around inside of the building. We'll still call it a fence. $31, $32, $33. This one's going to be a giant one. Or actually, no, the next one over here. I thought it was going to be a giant one, but I guess I split it up. This is 34, 35. This one's giant, but it's supposed to be separated. 36. This is a very weird looking fence, but I really don't want to call it a building, so it is a fence. 38. This thing was is more of a barrier than it is a fence, but and what does that mean? A barrier is something I only added to block someone from skipping or just going somewhere I don't want them to go. Whereas a fence is usually just a detail to like prevent the player from falling off the map. Like story wise in the world, not necessarily like uh literally falling like in game. I mean, I don't know. Like not literally falling out of the map, but just like if they were to fall and die, like that type of thing, like a safety thing. Okay, fence 40. Where is this? This is... Ah, it's another thing to jump around, but it's also like something I usually skip or I'm intending for the player to skip. $41, $42, $43. What is this? This is probably supposed to be part of an existing fence, and I just didn't notice it wasn't attached to it. So let's show the fences, grab this thing, and I see it's fence 34, so I will group, ungroup, drag it into 34. And then just merge them. Okay, so the problem lies here. The solution is just to do some sort of line like that, I guess. Sure. I mean, even that stuff I just spent time on doesn't really matter because the whole thing is going to very, very likely look different or be remeshed. What are these things? They're stairs. They're not necessarily part of the route. Are they details or are they pro saves? This one is a detail. So let's bring back the junk. Maybe the junk should be part of the zoo. I don't know. That's a detail. This one is... I think it's a detail also. Like the player has to go up here to go through back to if they fall down, they have to go on this thing back up, but it's not really needed. The player could just jump up because this height is a 64 unit height. So it's not necessary, but it's a detail. Anyway, since they're details, this is detail 53. And this is detail 54. Okay. All right, so this is another fence 44. Fence 45. These big things are, I'm not really sure if I would say they're fences or if they're part of the building. I'm conflicted about it. Since they're floating, that means they're sitting atop of a building, for these two at least. But these two, they're sitting atop of... I don't actually know. Because what are these meant to be? Is this whole thing a balcony? This whole thing might be a balcony. Okay, I'll call it a balcony. Which would mean this is also a balcony. So this is all grouped. This is balcony 7. Does that change anything? I'm not going to think too hard about it. It doesn't really matter what they are. We're calling it a fence. Fence 47. 48. 49. Ooh, grab this and this. This is 50. These, I guess they're separate. Yeah, no, actually, I'm gonna keep them together. Fence 51. 52. 53. 54. So that should be all of them. So now I can uh, select them. So show defenses, select them all. Find this orange material and just color them. Okay. So now I'll bring back the buildings. And I get to see, I get to split out the buildings that are, I get to look at which buildings are uh, world boundaries or which ones aren't. So, hmm. I guess that means I will go into selection sets to do it. So I'm going to create a new selection set for, okay, the map is changing here, so that's why I'm freezing. So I'm just going to disconnect from it. That also means I've been going for a while. 2 hours? I'm gonna finish this idea I'm having about the selection set, and then I'll end. So it's select this new selection set. It's a non-viz buildings. So we hide the non-viz buildings. Um, Ooh, wait, I'm going about it wrong. I'm selecting it as mesh. I'm supposed to select it as group. So I'm going to remove selected, press 6 to select as group. Ah, but it selects the whole thing. Okay, so I do 4, then 6, 4, then go into the outliner to select building 9, and then building 9 I put in here. So this is I guess this is the confusing part about doing this group thing I'm doing, because now if I select anything as a group, it's going to select all of it, which is not great. So I can fix this though. It's actually, I think it's easy to fix. I'm going to save first though, but I'm going to select them all. If I ungroup, it just gets rid of building, but it keeps all of these in their own groups. And it also keeps them in the selection set. So there's still 63 buildings, but now I can select them as groups individually, how I kind of intended it to be. So I guess now that's it makes more sense, even though the outliner is going to be a bit more messy to look at, but at least it's easier to work with selecting stuff. I wish that when I hide if I hide a group, it doesn't hide from the outliner for some reason. That's the one thing that's like the biggest flaw in what I'm doing right now. But anyway, so that I did that with buildings. Now I'm going to do it with balconies. So I select all, ungroup, and they're still in their own. So it's removing it from the highest hierarchy group, but their lower hierarchies stay together, which is all I want. So now route is going to be the same idea, just ungroup, barriers, select all, ungroup, pro saves, select all, ungroup, details, select all, ungroup, fences, select all, ungroup, and I don't really care about those two, but why not? Just repeat. No, actually, I guess it's different for these because oh, that's weird that it doesn't let me. Hmm. Oh, I didn't have to because they were never grouped, I guess. So I could still select them individually because they're just meshes. There's no groups involved at all. If I want to, I can group them, but whatever. I mean, it's still going to be the problem. It would select the whole thing. So no, I should still ungroup it. I'm pretty sure. Phew. And then if I care to fix it later, then I will. Okay, so back to the building thing. I show the buildings, but hide non-viz. So this one is meant to be non-viz. I have to still make sure I'm doing it in group select. So if I were to show this, select it as group, it is selected. Whereas if I select it as a mesh, it would not show as selected. So that means I did add it as a group here, which is what I want. So now this one I have to also do as a group, add to non-viz. This building is a viz contributor, so I'm not going to do anything with it. This one as well, I believe, is a viz contributor, so I'm not doing anything. These three should be viz contributors. Although if I make it more detailed, maybe not. Um, hmm. I need to think for a moment then. I guess it's easier for me to deal with it. For those down here, I'll figure it out. But I'll move on to the ones that are very obvious. So these are all non-viz. I select them like this and add, they're all separate. Okay. Um, are they non-viz though? Because what if I treat them as viz and then like enclose the world uh around them like with the tool skybox. So I'm gonna go backward again to here because so I guess this one. Hmm. Right. So I surf here. I do see the second building. It's a bit odd, but I guess if you take into context, there's a barrier over here. I'm intending for the player to explore to a certain point. Uh, I don't know. I'm not going to worry too much about these, I guess. Or I will figure out about adding them, or about making them not, Viz contributors later if I want to. For now, I am going to stick with making them non-Viz because the important part is so that I can fix the floor and wall meshes by only looking at things that are enclosing the world on the ground level. And I'm going to worry about the sky part later. So this is non-viz. This is non-viz. This one is odd. I think I'm supposed to cut it here. And then as a result, I can now say this is non-viz. Um, this should be non-viz. Hmm. I'm pretty sure all three of these are supposed to be viz. Oh shoot, I was adding them as meshes again. All right, I'm gonna select them, see which ones I did wrong. So it's this one. Remove, press 6, add. Remove, press 6, add. Oh, I cannot add unless I reselect it. Yes, that's why I should have realized it because these two were supposed to be part of the same group. All right, what else? This one? Remove 6. Maybe I'm supposed to do control 6. No, that doesn't work. Control 4 works, but control 6 does not go into the group, unfortunately. Okay. Which one's this one? All the way over here. Remove 6, click add. Remove 6, click add. Remove 6, click add. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3. I know I did this one correct. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All of them should be good now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Hopefully I don't mess up from this point forward. This one I think is Viz contributing. This one should be Viz contributing. I can hide this now. This one's Viz contributing because you can go inside, but there's certain aspects of it that would be non-Viz, but I'll get to that in the future. This one's Viz contributing because you can go inside. This one's Viz contributing just because of how it's on the border like that. This one because you can go in. This one's probably, it's probably still Viz contributing. So is this because you can go inside? This is because you can go inside. These are not for now. This is because you can go inside. And that covers this whole area. So now this top area I'm going to say all of these are non-viz. These, I would want these to be on the border of the world, which means they should be viz. This as well. Hmm. Yeah, I guess I leave those alone. I don't know if it matters whether I make that viz or not. I'll just make it non-viz. This one should be non-viz. That's non-viz. This is non-viz. That's non-viz. This is non-viz. This is non-viz. Okay. So at this point, the next step would be to do what? Well, first, since I kept saying like this non-vis stuff, and then looking at the buildings you could go inside of, but the buildings you can go inside of. Oh shoot! I hope I didn't switch to object again. All right, let me do this. I'm going to select these, Control H, and then make sure if I select all of them as a group, it shows 25 are selected. If I select as mesh, it shows 0 selected. So I didn't mess anything up. But I think the ones that you can go inside of, I really should also put in non-viz. Not that they're going to be non-viz contributors, it's just that I'm naming this poorly. What I really want to name this is non-world bound. And then it makes more sense to add this, add this, add this. So these are world bounds. These are not really meant to be world boundaries. The reason why this is world bound is because it goes into the world. This one, I guess, isn't. I can adjust the ground. I'm not sure. Maybe it is. I'll just leave it. This is mostly world bound. I think this part is an exception, but we'll figure out what to do with that. This one we'll say is world bound, but I want to say this one is not. So these are definitely not world bound. This is definitely not world bound. World boundaries. This is not a world boundary. This is not a world boundary. This is not a world boundary. This is, just by how big it is, but this one is not. This one is not. Or it could be, but we'll say it's not. This one's definitely not. Uh, I switched to objects again. How far back did I switch? That's so annoying. All right, so let's see. Select this as groups. We're good. Now hide it. I'm still in groups. So it's just add this, this. I don't have to do it individually, huh? Just like this, 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 this. That I'll say is a world boundary. Those, I guess, are fine. These are not world boundaries, but that one probably is. All right, so this more so is meant to represent the shape of the world. And then there's little things I'll have to leave out. Like this is more of a detail. In fact, I should have just marked it as a detail. I don't know why I didn't. This is 100% a detail. So group. No, we're not. Well, yeah, it is needed to be grouped. It doesn't need, there is no detail group anymore. I guess the difficulty is seeing how many details there are, but I can just look at the number in the selection set now instead of the group. So this is detail 55. And then I select details. I select this group, and then I select it as a group. And then I click the selection set and add selected items. Okay. So now at least that gives me something to do next time. So I'm going to stop now. Okay.